How we doing tonight, guys? A lot has happened since we last talked on Sunday, right? Don't know if some of you guys have been trading. I personally have not. I did try on yesterday on Tuesday. Did look for a long there. Um Early morning, I believe. And it did not go well. My margins got all messed up and I was looking to swing. Honestly, I would not have survived this anyways. 400 point move there. Um, but yeah, margin switched. I kind of got margin called and lost a lot of money. So it was fun. What have I learned from this? I will no longer be utilizing AMP broker. Actually, Kane, Trader Kane from the lab, um, is a big seller of NinjaTrader now. He's also an ambassador for them, so I'm live with NinjaTrader. Wasn't trading till Trump gave us the signal too long. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yesterday was just rumors, or was it Monday? But just rumors that there'd be a 90-day break for tariffs. But it was confirmed today, so we saw a huge injection of, I guess, bullishness in the markets. So very, very nice today. I personally don't look to trade news. That's just not how I like to trade. And in general, for the most part, you'll notice that when there is such news like this, slippage is crazy, margins are crazy. It's just not the best conditions to be trading it, so I prefer not to. Some people, trade a few micros, have some fun. Um, just not my style, to be fair. I did do it in the past, just not anymore. And that actually brings me to the VIX, which, let's be honest, it is the highest it has ever been, right? And we're looking here, I'm looking at August 2024, which honestly, I have no clue what this chart, why this chart is like that. But we've had a lot of volatility. And if we look, this is weekly, right? We look at the last 2 weeks. When have we seen the same thing? So August, of course, and the other one is COVID. For those of you that aren't familiar with this, this is a volatility index, VIX. So it showcases volatility in the S&P 500 in this case. You still need to go up at your bank to transfer money in your account with AMP Canada. It is a bank transfer, but I never went in person, Patrick. You can do bank transfers directly online. Perhaps at your bank you couldn't. But yes, you deposit through bank transfers. I don't know if there's any other way to do it. Yeah, ACH, which is a bank transfer pretty much. Yeah, I don't know. I never had any issues and always preferred doing bank transfers anyways, because that leaves some form of legal trail that an Interact transfer does not do. So if I can recommend something is if you guys do go for live accounts, you want that connected to a real bank account, and it's way easier to do that with a bank transfer. Was it something happen? All right. But what does that bring us to, right? Volatility being so high, does it mean that we can't trade? Does it mean that we trade differently? Well, for me, it means one very simple thing. I can't trade as I did before because risk is too high, right? So I cut risk down, and sadly, sadly, I guess, I prefer to hold on to trades for way less long. And see, this is something that has rarely happened in the past. It's actually, I don't know if it's the first time we see such a huge day on NASDAQ. 12% to the upside. I mean, perhaps in the past, but even then, we weren't seeing 12% in a day, perhaps in 2 days, right? Perhaps an 8, 9% day, but I don't know. Maybe it happened before. I'm definitely going to open my statistics and see if it did. What do you have, Cozy? By the way, Cozy, it is awesome to see you. It's been a while. Largest daily percentage days. What is that? Yeah, 14% change in 2001. Wow. Yeah, but see, price was so low during those times, I prefer not to look at it. But yeah, some old days where we saw 10% movement and mine down 12% in 2020, right, with COVID. Yeah, March 16th. Second largest daily move. That's awesome. Congrats. Congrats, Cozy. Second best day ever. Yeah. Yeah. That's what Cozy just showed us. What's the limit up on NQ? I have no clue. I'm not trading prop firms anymore. And I only need to look at margins for live accounts. I don't need to look at limits because they just close trading if ever. I thought if price went a certain percentage up or down, trading gets paused and or stopped. Yes. Usually does. But I don't know. I mean, after such a huge down move, maybe they decided not to close it, or maybe they did close it today. I honestly I couldn't tell you. I wasn't trading today. And you guys know me, I don't really look at news or what's going on. I like to trade in my own way. Don't think there is one to the upside. I agree. I really don't think there is one to the upside. But maybe. Maybe. All right, but just to get more into price, to be honest with you guys, I'm quite happy that I waited until Thursday to engage with price because just with what happened on Tuesday, to me, that's like, okay, well, first premium and efficiency here. We retraced into it with SMT, of course, but on ES, we did retrace into it. Let me bring premium and discount here too, which is not our first premium. 100% it isn't, but you have that SMT, you have the SMT here at our first premium and efficiency. That for me was enough to just push us lower. But then once again, this is a news movement that brings us a lot of upside momentum, right, for the market. So I don't think I'm surprising anyone when I say that I'm going to be looking for longs going into tomorrow and the day and Friday, right? Best case scenario, tomorrow we have CPI, right? So hopefully nothing crazy goes on there. We might see some crazy inflation data since, well, I mean, it hasn't been long enough that Trump has announced the tariff. So I don't know. I'm not the best in terms of fundamental predictions, I guess. But overall, what I'd love to see is for the overnight movement to go lower, right? Retrace into this range a little bit. And I mean, quarters are not enough in this case for such a large range, in my opinion. But I like to break it down, as you guys know, into quarters and then push even further and go into ace. So I'm going to be looking at these lines as any point of interest, kind of like I would use liquidity, for example. And I'm going to look for a continuation to the upside with a very clear objective here. And now, of course, I need to look at objectives far further because volatility is crazy right now. But I mean, it's pretty simple by just looking at daily swing highs and lows. I thought that was a swing high. We have some very, very clear objectives on when to go for. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe in the weekly, yeah, we had weekly fair value gap here that I would like to see inversed after taking this liquidity. All right, so if we can have a weekly close above here, and don't get me wrong, guys, this is a huge movement, right? So we have 7% more after just doing a little over, let's go look at it, 17, wow, almost 18% in a fucking day. Oh no, that's in a week. Sorry, guys. Okay, so that's in this current week, from the low, right? So from the open, we're up 13%. Seeing an additional 7% would make it a 20% week. That's pretty crazy. Limit up only applies for overnight trading hours for Top Step. Awesome, Seb. Thanks for letting us know. I don't personally trade overnight, so that's a little different. 7, 13, and 20% are the circuit breakers. Most props will hold trading at 5%. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't think there's one to the upside. First before more pump town. Yeah, 100%, right? Where as I was saying, right, looking for some downside before we see anything else. See 18,930, that's yeah, that's around my first quarter actually. So definitely looking for something like this, and I'm going to be looking for upside. It would be very extremely weird unless we have some very severe news tomorrow, right, with CPI, then you might see a deeper retracement. But to be honest, as you can see, my quarters line up with the inversions that we just created, well, that we just inverted. And that's what I'm going to be looking to buy. And I'm going to be looking for some high probability setups. And no, I am not going to be forcing any sorts of trades. So if I don't have my same framework, I'm going to be looking for the same thing, right? I'm looking for breaker block with an overlapping PD array. And, you know, sometimes when price is rushed to go somewhere, it won't retrace into any on-site array. But I mean, I saw plenty of people talking about it long this morning that would have given you such a clear move, right? So if we just go back, this is PM. We look at this morning, right? right here. You had a breaker block right there, and I believe it was an inversion fair value gap entry. Oh, that was 830. Let me go here. There we go. Yeah. So you have breaker block that formed right here. I just want to showcase this since I saw some people talking about it this morning. It was a very beautiful setup. I don't trade on no news days, right? And FOMC meeting minutes is not a news day for me. But as you guys can see, we formed the breaker on this bar. Next bar, we opened right here, traded down into our entry inversion fair value gap. That would have given you a lot of room to the upside. After, of course, some weird drawdown here. For me, that's just like I would have made profit on this move and not held past. But, you know, to be fair, well, more so to be honest, right? I don't see the markets doing anything that I'm going to be looking to trade in the short term. That's the truth. Maybe I'll have some good trades. Maybe I won't. China says it is willing to negotiate tariffs, but will fight to the end if the U.S. refuses to compromise. This could trigger another bonkers move. Yeah, 100%. I mean, who did? I'm forgetting who gave me this reference, but people are saying like that NASDAQ is trading like a meme coin. And if you're unfamiliar, right, we're talking about shit crypto coins that are either rugs or based on nothing, memes and whatnot. And it is truly that. It's back and forth, purely based on hype and news. People are so fucking scared right now. And then they got the tiny bit of good news and we're all buying. And, call this buying pressure, selling pressure. Of course, the markets will always do it in the right order, in the correct way, as we have learned multiple times. But this candle is not based on the fact that we need it to go up. It's based on the fact that we had some very bullish news and people are scared. So everyone that's sold off during this time is now finally buying again. Right? When we have things that affect not even the world, but just a whole U.S. market, economic market, right? Financial markets, then yes, that does affect price. And yes, it does mean that our statistical frameworks are lower probability. You might have seen I had a discussion with Matrix in the futures chat, and if you did not, I would highly recommend going into it and reading it, and about what statistical frameworks are still valid in times like these and how I personally trade these. Of course, I'm not going to go in depth. And as per an outlook, I mean, pretty straightforward stuff, right? We're going to be trading off news. So I'm looking for a continuation of this crazy move. I want to see us push further. Clear levels, of course. Clear objective that I want to see us do. So I want to see the week close above here. If we continue with this volatility, I'm not expecting this first premium inefficiency on ES to stop anything, right? It may cause a retracement as we want to see, right, to this first quarter perhaps, but we want to see it inverse fully, and then we have the same objectives. And am I going to look at opposite SMT? Not at all. I do not care. If I see bearish SMT, I'm just going to skip through it. I'm talking about intermediate and higher time frames in this case. Could you frame a retracement tomorrow? Yes and no, because the truth is, I'm looking for a retracement to the downside, all right, before we go long. If we don't do that move before we go long, to me, what I see is that it just did not need to. So I'm still going to look for longs continuations to the upside. So there is absolutely no way I'm going to frame a retracement into this candle going into tomorrow, unless we consolidate the whole night and then CPI comes, right? But no, it would definitely surprise me. I know that with CPI myself, we usually go on side with the current direction, so I'm expecting bullish movement from CPI. It'd be very hard for me to frame some retracements. But we'll see tomorrow for sure. And that trade was a 300-point move. Yeah, Patrick. Pretty crazy right now. Do you guys have any questions, right? Or maybe not about price currently, but just trading in general at this moment in times like these, It's new for me as well. I wasn't trading. The highest volatility I saw is that huge run up that we saw last year going into late 2024. Right. I have a more general question. Go for it. Shoot it, Payne. Watching history be made right now? Yes, Cozy. Yes. This is going to be definitely something to remember. Out of curiosity, Why do you not trade prop firms such as Apex and leverage their 20 accounts? Well, first of all, I really hate the live trailing threshold for Apex, not because I can't trade it, just because it doesn't fit my model, where I cannot hold runners if I don't trail my stop super aggressively. And that pisses me off because I have my model that gets those base hits, right? But the big trades actually make a big difference, right? Those home runs. And I can't get those on those accounts. So that sucks. And in general, it is worth it for a while until it no longer isn't. So for the people, some people are printing like 500K. Well, I want to say a month on Apex, but the truth is they do it for 1 month and then they get banned, right? I just want to grow my own personal capital right now. So I'm trading my own personal capital. I'm trying out a few different prop firms. I've been with Take Profit Trader now for a few weeks. Never had an issue. Got a 2 payout from them. Wasn't too quick, but wasn't too slow either. So I'm messing around with prop firms, but truth is, I have my live accounts. I have multiple bot strategies. So having a copy trader run at the same time as well is just adding complexity where none needs to be there. So right now I'm more focused on building than actually generating the most amount of revenue I can to the set. With Apex, how do you withdraw? With crypto, uh, do they still have crypto withdrawals? I don't know. I have a bank withdrawal with them. So basically, they send you a bank transfer. Do you mind sharing your specific criteria for rating setups? Didn't you? I thought I answered you. I think you asked me that question before. I'm sorry, Payne. But it's very simple. I've said it before. So an A plus setup is just everything is there. So if you're unfamiliar, right, or looking for everything that the setup has, you have a clear drawn liquidity, you have your breaker block unicorn, you have SMT as well. All that makes A plus. And then how I downgrade setups is just, oh, there's one thing missing, then it's an A setup. There's 2 things missing, I'm not taking a trade. How simple that is. So for example, there's no SMT, still a good trade. Sometimes I have too big of a stop loss, still a good trade because if there's SMT, because then all of a sudden it's good. But if I have too big a stop loss and then I don't have SMT, then I'm not going to take the trade. I'm going to wait for a better entry. If my partial doesn't offer enough risk to reward and I don't have SMT, same thing. I'm going to wait for a better entry. So sometimes it just retraces a little deeper into my fair value gap and provides me with a good enough setup then. But very simple stuff. Let's make an unregulated futures broker with crypto payouts. Hell no. Hell no. It's just a 1-letter trade, downgrade per thing missing. That's how I go about it. Truth is, I have my list. Things have to be there. The only thing I don't really care for is SMT. So it can be there or not. But the other thing that changes is, okay, well, sometimes my partial objective does not offer enough risk to reward. Or sometimes we're very far in premium. But if we're very far in premium and I have SMT and everything else is present, then I can still take that riskier trade since I have the confluence from that extra thing, right? So that's how I personally engage. Never had issues with that. And that's actually also how my bot trades this framework. I was thinking, guys, we have 10 people in here and a lot of regulars and some people coming back, right? But I was thinking about perhaps providing signals at some point. And I'm talking future, right? Not near future at all. But I was wondering if you guys could give me your opinion on that. What would you think? Would that be something you guys are interested in? Because I'm like, I want people to learn. That's the truth. That's why I haven't done it before. But what I'm thinking is if they're making money, they'll want to learn to do the same things themselves. No, not higher time frame at all, like intraday, Ferez. So like if you'd had signals and then you trade that, you'd make money, then most of the people I feel like would be willing to learn just to be able to do that themselves. And of course, guys, you know me, all right? I love doing this stuff. I'm doing these calls for free and all that stuff, but of course, it would be behind a paywall. As I built my archive for the Rise model, I found finding the setup reasonably straightforward, but the most challenging part was getting the daily bias and direction correct. Can you talk a bit more about that? You know what? I'll make your life even simpler, Magic, all right? Just don't. Look at the London framework we always talk about. Look at the Asia framework and look for equal highs or equal lows. Forget bias. Because truth is, you don't need it. For me, bias is all about, of course, what I'm seeing on the higher time frames. So I'm always looking at the same logic from internal to external, looking at the first premium, or if I'm looking at a bullish range, the first discount and efficiency. That's my retracement objective. Liquidity is going to be my draw on liquidity for most times, right? That's my expansion objective. And then intraday, to confirm that idea, I look for AMD on a daily time frame. On a daily net time frame, but a daily time window. So I always open my intraday chart, which is my 15-minute chart, and then I'm looking at the structure of the candle. Let me remove this premium and discount, right? Let's actually remove indicators for a sec. So if I'm looking at, oh, well, I want the daily move. Let's just remove this and just keep opening prices. So here I see that we opened, we went and traded lower, and now we're trading higher. So when 9:30 comes right here, what am I going to look to trade? Well, longs, because these will be the high probability moves. We opened, we traded lower. I know in which order the market forms its structure. It's open, low, then we need to expand to a high. Accumulation, manipulation lower, distribution higher. So it's not even about having a bias. It's just about understanding in what direction your expansion trades are going to be. So whether I'm bullish or not on this day, I understand that the best trades at this current moment are going to be right here, right? This is 9:30 open, are going to be to trade higher. And if I'm wrong, what happens? Well, I take a loss and then it trades lower. Then I understand, oh, well, here we don't have a manipulation higher yet. So now we just double manipulated pretty much. We just purged it lower again, and now I can still look for loss. And what if it doesn't work? Well, I stopped myself after 2 losses. So sometimes you're wrong and you lose money. Knowledge of intraday profiles are great, 100%, 100%. Working on some session profiling statistics, gonna be awesome. And down the signals. Whoa. You guys just had a lot to say. It has to be quick, the signals. Yeah, true. I mean, sometimes you really like it's on the candle, and then at the same bar that gave you your entry closes, you're like 30 points away, and then that's crazy and you won't have time. But sometimes you have a few minutes to enter on setups, right? Or even something where you could get alerts when a potential trade opportunity arises, for sure. Not really. You could just talk about formation of a breaker, entering when he's created. Sure, that as well. Showed his trades when he was about to do them. Nobody was ever able to catch them. Time frames were too low, just saying it couldn't work. True. Not saying it couldn't work, but it's challenging. Yeah, I do agree. Explaining upcoming framework is awesome, but actual trades are tough to recreate, and some dudes gets pissed when they don't work. It's almost a no-win scenario. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing, but the truth is, I don't want to tell you guys what I do, and then I'm wrong, and then it is my fault that people lost money, because I just can't do that. That's not how I want to be and whatnot. So just for simplicity's sake, right? I'm not looking to provide signals from my potential ideas. These would be coming from bots, pretty much, so automatic signals. Who knows, right? I just wanted to brainstorm, see what you guys thought about it, definitely. And I mean, this is recorded, so see what YouTube has to say about it as well, I guess. But yeah, I just think it's cool to have you guys directly included, right? This is always the vision I had with Rice, right? It's not me making decisions. Well, of course it is. It's me making the decisions, but I take you guys' feedback to build a community that's actually a community, not just a group. 15-second, I don't care. It's the knowledge to hold for the maximum points is hard. Yes, definitely. That's why I like statistical frameworks, right? It's much easier to hold for longer if I know that I have a target higher. For example, I'm long. That has a 70% chance of being hit. And you know what? 30% of the time, that level won't be hit. And I'll get broken even or I'll get trailed out. but 70% of the time it is worth it to reach that. So that's profitable within a specific framework, right? You just have to do a little expected value calculation based on the distance away and the profit you're giving back that distance as well. Yeah, I mean, I do have some bots who aren't doing too well right now, but I have some very good bots. One thing, I can't do that. If you're not in the automated trading chat, I would definitely recommend being in there. I have a bot that was running. You see, it's up. I'm looking for the screenshot. It's not that one. It would be that one, right? No, it is not that one. It is this one. Okay, so it's up 32R in the last 3 months as of 2 days ago. How do I join that? You go ahead and you go to the channels and roles section. You scroll up at the top of the channel list. You can click on channels and roles, and you'll find a little beautiful question that says, would you like access to the automated trading chat, in parentheses code? And if you click yes, you'll find you have access to automated trading, which is just another chat. We talk about bots. We have a few bot traders in there. Pleasure. There's a market out there for people who want to copy trade ICT stuff. I have seen it. Perhaps. What do you think about Trader Kane's strat with one-to-one trades, base hits to get a buffer / pass an account? I don't know what it is. Do you mean the lab model? So Trader Kane's model, but just trading it with a one-to-one? I don't know. You know me, Patrick. I trade the Rise model. That's all I trade. And if someone comes to me for knowing nothing, I'll tell them trade that. Does the right stats showcase a percentage if the day is going to be bullish or bearish? Yeah, you do have that. You can use specific filtering, right? So if I'm looking at Tuesdays that have this sort of news, you can look at a lot of stuff. But like Wednesday, I can tell you it was a high probability of being a bullish day. I'm actually opening it up and going to check. I'm curious. See, like you guys ask me questions about data and I'm just like, I don't know, but I want to know. Here, you know what? I'll show you guys. Why not? Let's bring this guy in. There we go. Let's go look at this. So ranges, we're looking at a day, standard time, right? Which in this case, 6 p.m. to 7. We want to know if they're going to be bullish. We have a Wednesday. What did we have? FOMC meeting minutes. Let's look at this guy. Let's do, I forgot to do this. Let's do USD. And let's look at minutes right here. And we're looking at 98 days, 64% chance of being bullish. What if we look in the last, like, 3 years? My computer lags so much. Yeah, 60%. So we had a high probability is the easiest thing we can say here of being bullish today. Having a big home gym, right? Stats is like having a big home gym. It will go as far as you're willing to take it. Yes, it's all in the user. You can maximize your trading or be lazy. I mean, that's how I built it. I wanted to give all the options, right? All the opportunity so that people can use it in a lot of different ways, right? You can watch Kane on NinjaTrader YouTube on Wednesdays, yes. Yeah, he's going to be there for a while, I believe. Yeah, for example, trading the Rise model but taking profits at one-to-one with high risk and trail stops to get a buffer. I mean, sure, you could definitely do that. Actually, yeah, you'd be looking at about probably a 70% win rate. I'm thinking because I know I tested that before, Patrick. I know I did test that trading unicorns with a one-to-one, and we were looking at about like 60 to 65% win rate. And if you trail your stop, you can get those runners. So maybe I'd be interested to test that out again. Yes. Funny how rich traders need that in paid discords. I mean, it's not about need in this case for us. I think it's about influence. And honestly, like you can ask me if NinjaTrader would ask me to come live with them, I'd for sure do it because that would bring me a bigger audience for my tools, right? And at the end of the day, yes, it's about making money and it's about recognition. I'm honest with you guys. You guys know that. So, yes, at the end of the day, it's about that. I don't know. Maybe it's different for some people, right? As you know, I don't like to comment that much on different people, but you will sell your soul, Ollie? Never. Never, never, never. If someone asks me to not say something or to say something, talk a certain way, I will never do that for money. I apologize, but that's just no. No way. But if people tell you, hey, do you want to come stream for free here and we'll pay you? Like, I mean, well, not for free, I guess, but for free access to the public and we'll pay you? Fuck yeah, I will. I mean, it's just additional income. Why not? At least that's my opinion. But I still do this in the Discord for free, right? These calls. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. Do we have any final questions, perhaps about price, right? I've been rambling. We've been talking for the last 15 minutes. It's always a pleasure. But do we have any final questions before we call it a day? I'm going to be training tomorrow. I'm excited to see what we do, honestly. Hopefully I can catch a piece of this so I can feel a little bit better. Awesome. Always a pleasure, guys. You know me. I love doing these. Any trade examples from today's PA? Yeah. You know what? Click on the futures chat, scroll up a little bit, and you'll find, Patrick sent it. Yep. So you can barely scroll up in the futures chat. Here, I'll tag you, Speakock. At Speakock. There you go. Look at this message from Patrick. Beautiful example. Is there a right stats upgrade coming soon? Well, I mean, soon, no. Not much changes to the app itself, but to Right Statistics as a subscription, yes. Yes, there is something coming. Not going to be this weekend. I would love for it to be this weekend, but it's not. Going to be the week after. So you guys have the first insight here. But yes, big upgrade coming. Just not directly to the app. You guys will see. Pretty sure last Wednesday's setup was bullish breaker with IFVG entry 2. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Awesome. All right, well, you know what, guys? Good luck trading tomorrow. We're going to call it a night here. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Cozy. Appreciate that. Good luck with your new child. Finally a girl, as you said. That's awesome. You guys have a great rest of your night. All right, we'll see each other tomorrow night for our classic PA review. You guys have a good one. Bye.